So it's 10 minutes until 1 a.m. and I'm quite tired. So forgive me for not being more enthusiastic, but I'm doing some writing when it comes to my short film and songwriting. I went for a walk about 20 minutes ago and tried to get motivated. Had a cup of coffee and I'm feeling pretty good. Kind of want to come on here and give a little update on what's going on with my creative projects. Much like Creatt, which emphasizes fashion, film, and music, I do fashion, film, and music. A little rundown about me, since this is technically the first Phiroze Diaries, where I talk about my creative endeavors rather than my personal life and doing video diaries. This would be more so my video diaries rather than crying on camera. If you've watched my other videos, I still wish to show my personality. I don't want to be super boring and just be like, oh, here's a checklist of everything that I've done or blah blah blah. Like, no, I still want it to be fun. I'm still a very fun person. I'm fun. Working on Creatt, which Creatt is a company that I started, and it's to help filmmakers right now connect with each other and collaborate with each other and share resources and just create a fun film environment that makes networking fun. So I'm very anti-AI, don't like algorithms. I want it to be like your apartment hunting for a collaborator. Yeah, in the future, it'll be fashion, film, and music all together, but I had to do a Discord server before I can officially do a website, just because I'm trying to raise capital for that. In the meantime, I wanted to create a community that felt organic, and I don't want to be something that relies on ads. I don't want to be something that relies on capitalization of talent, or should I say prioritizes the capitalization of talent. I want to remember the talent before I remember the money, you know, because the structure of how it would operate would be like an agency. Like, it would take a platform fee, and yeah, but I feel like with so many things that take a platform fee, I feel like they just abuse it. So I'm working on creating a fun environment on the Discord to emphasize the fun in filmmaking, to do fun exercises with acting, to do fun exercises with screenwriting, to show how directing can be fun, to experiment in editing. Whatever happened to having fun? What happened to fun in fashion, in film, in music? Why doesn't anyone experiment anymore? And I say, why doesn't anyone experiment? People experiment. I will tell you that. Why isn't experimentation rewarded anymore? Before, it felt, oh, this is a new sound, I like it. Now it isn't like that. I don't know. Forgive me if I go on little tangents. I don't have a script. I'm just winging it, and it's 1 a.m. Give me some grace. Yeah, with Creatt, I'm focusing on filmmakers right now just because I'm one person and I can only make so much content. I want to emphasize one group first before I expand to the others, so each group feels important. Each group feels like they're being catered to. And I'm still trying to think of new ideas. I'm trying to get feedback from others, and it's a growing community, and I'm excited. I'm really grateful for this, because I really hope people are able to get opportunities from it and meet new people. So yeah, today I just made content for that. I emphasize the importance of, you know, sharing film recommendations and sharing your own film, because you can share your own film on the Discord, and it's really fun. And it's kind of like Letterboxd, but more, you know, like a forum where you can have an actual discussion on you know, the reviews. Going to the music, I'm also working on my debut album, which has been in the making since like 2019. It's almost been 10 years, and exciting, but I kind of took a break for a little bit. It's been a long journey with that. But yeah, I'm feeling very confident in the songwriting. Once again, kind of do everything out of necessity. Don't really have a huge budget, but where there's a will, there's a way. And I'm talented in my writing, you know? I was always talented in my creative writing, which got me into screenwriting. And, you know, I used to make music a lot. I used to love to sing. I practiced, and I'm a good singer. So I can sing and I can write, and then I learned to produce. And I have to trust my intuition when it comes to my producing, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is like the right sound, but it's intuitively what my sound is, rather than what I think my sound is. It's called From California with Love, and it's an homage to early 2000s California. And I know there's a lot of like throwback right now, like early 2010s, early 2000s, but like that's when I was a child, and I feel like I know that genre, and I'm not doing it in a way that I'm trying to emulate the sound per se, but more so the feeling. And I think the feeling was very optimistic, and it's free. Like being 10 years old, and not everyone was 10 years old at that time, but being 10 years old in 2009, right? What was that like? What was that feeling? It doesn't have to sound like 2009, but what was that feeling? What was in the air? What was going on during that time? And how can I relate to that in present day time? How can I take those lessons that I was going through when I was 9 and relate to them now? And what was going on politically? What was going on economically? What was going on with my friendships? What was going on with how I viewed myself, right? And yeah, around that age is when I knew I wanted to do acting. It's when I knew I wanted to be out of a small town and go into LA, New York, somewhere big, somewhere exciting. And that optimism, that perseverance, that someday it'll get better. And now I'm 27 and I'm here, and it got better, you know? I've lived so much, and it's just like, how do I continue that optimism? Which is what brings me to, you know, my films. I started a production company back in 2022. Guys, don't make me speak French right now, but it's Magie Onirique, and it means dream like magic. And I wanted it to be escapism, really. I viewed film as escapism. I thought, why not make films that people can be immersed in and kind of escape from their reality? First film, or technically series pilot, was called The Blue, and it was my thesis film, quote unquote, unofficially. They didn't consider it my thesis. But The Blue was basically about teenagers in their last 6 months of high school, basically being rich in the valley of the San Fernando Valley in LA. I wanted to emulate 90210, Gossip Girl. You know, for many people, they didn't grow up rich in rich areas. So I was like, okay, I want to make the valley cool, because I lived in the valley living in LA, and I was like, the valley needs to be cool because I'm there. So I made it, and it was a version of escapism. You know, Gossip Girl is, you know, 90210 is, other shows where most people aren't in those scenarios. You know, I've honed in the vision of Magie Onirique, and it's more so about just showing the good in the world. When it's dream like magic, yes, it can be, you know, extravagant, and it can be amazing, and it can be a escapism, but it's also a reminder of human beings. It's the human condition really intrigues me. But the thing with the human condition, and when they talk about the human condition, it's sad, it's tragic. It's this, humans are set up to fail. Humans are set up to be sad, and life's a sad journey of just unfortunate events. Unfortunate things happen, right? It's a little blip. Just a little blip. And when you look at your life and you really start to see the moments of goodness, even on your roughest day, something good happened. And I truly believe that. And I want to emphasize in my films the magic of the world, the magic of the kindness of a stranger, the kindness of yourself. I really want it to be human focused, where it shows the humanity. I want to show healthy friendships. I want to show healthy relationships with their partners. I want to show healthy relationships with parents. I want to show healthy relationships with grandparents and, you know, coworkers and strangers. How you interact with a stranger. It's just, there's so much good in the world, and even when things don't seem like they're making sense, or they don't seem like they seem to be working out, something better happens. I'm excited because this short film that I'm writing is about two brown men loving each other. That's so unfamiliar, and the fact that they get a happy ending. And spoiler alert, they get a happy ending because I like happy endings. I don't want to write something or produce something that doesn't have a happy end. Why would I do that? We know the world isn't sunshine and happiness. But that doesn't mean there's not good in the world. Just because there's bad in the world doesn't mean it has to be emphasized all the time. You know, people are so doom and gloom because they watch the news all the time, and yes, it's good to be informed, but there's so much good going on in the world. There's so much good going on in your own community. There's so much good going on in your own household. If you look and notice the small magic, and, you know, with my music and with film, with everything, I want a sense of optimism, that things do get better, that even when they don't look like they're going up, everything's working out for your best good, your highest self. You're always learning and you're always growing. And people make mistakes. No one's gonna be perfect. It's not like I'm making a film where no one's at fault and, you know, it's clear as day that this person's right and this person's wrong. They might both be wrong. They might both be right. That's life. In the short film, I titled it Brown Eyes, and it's about two brown men of different cultures and societal expectations that fell in love, but fell out of love due to those expectations and differences, but somehow found each other again and are willing to compromise and put their pride off to the side to work on themselves, for themselves and for the relationship. And it shows that, you know, second chances can work when both parties want to make it work. And relationships are complex. It's not always one person's right, one person's wrong. It's never that way, you know. And there's so much complexity in life, but at the end of the day, I believe people are good. And I want to emphasize the goodness, you know. You can show, hey, these were the shortcomings, but how do we improve from there? How do we move on from there? How do we grow into something better? And that's the goodness. Through that hardship and those shortcomings, you see the goodness. Why did you do what you did? Oh, you were trying to do this. You should have shown it like this. And you turn a negative into a positive. It's so easy to play the blame game. And it's not easy to take accountability. And it's not easy to admit that you were wrong. It's not easy to improve for yourself, you know? It's easy to say, oh, I've always been like this is the way it is, due to culture, due to my upbringing, due to me just wanting to do it. When you truly feel like it's time for a change, that takes effort. And I believe people are good. Long tangent. I could be more articulate when it comes to that. But right now, it's 1 a.m. and this is what you get. But I'm probably going to go back and do my little thing. But the short film is going to be filmed at the end of August, inshallah. But if not that, early September, inshallah. Like, truly. My album, don't know. Don't have a deadline for that. Not gonna put a deadline. It gets released when it gets released. It has a summer vibe to it. Maybe it gets released in February around my birthday, which also I'm planning my birthday. But my birthday's not like super hard to plan. When I say my birthday, I'm talking about my half birthday, which is in August. It's gonna be around the same time I film. But yeah, it's gonna be sick. I'm gonna make like a public beach party, so it's gonna be cool. I met up with some actors online, and we're gonna do a virtual table read of it, and so you guys can see what I had written. It's gonna be sick. So I'll keep you guys updated on everything and let you know how everything goes later.